Both the director and producer hire the casting director, and then the casting director searches for actors to enhance the script, the vision, and not only do we search for actors, but we advise on Station 12s and SAG union rules, and we negotiate deals, and we deal with the studio and approvals and all sorts of stuff. But we represent production's interests.
Hey everyone, it's Cody. Today we're talking to casting director Erica Arvold. This episode is packed with knowledge. Erica shares a lot about her experiences and perspectives, her education programs and memberships, among many other things. Erica has spent the past 30 years as a casting director, a producer, a writer, and has contributed to the making of over 140 films, 85 television shows, and a lot of commercials. She's also kind and generous, and she does a lot for the acting and filmmaking community. If you want to learn about casting and production, the state of the industry on the East Coast and in the Southeast, intensives and educational opportunities for actors and directors, this episode's for you. If you want to learn more about Erica, check out arvold.com, which we'll have linked in the show notes. Also joining us for the interview today is Director Justin Rossbacher. He and Erica have worked together before, so we thought it'd be fun to expand the conversation a bit. And he just has a great, deep podcast voice, which is way cooler than mine. If you want to check out Justin, go to filmcry.com. And thank you, whoever keeps leaving these 5-star reviews. We appreciate you. If you want a shout out in a future episode, leave us a written review so that we can say thank you. And we begin.
A garden of pure ideology.
Yeah, just your typical Super Bowl car ad.
Or a hilarious beer ad.
Break was over 15 minutes ago, Mitch!
I think you're the best ever.
Look down. Back up. Where are you?
You're in the bush.
Well, how am I supposed to know? I've never been there.
I don't always drink beer, but when I do...
Wanna play Bob?
I think we're going to be here a while.
Erica, I have to praise you for a moment before we begin. I think if I was an actor, I'd probably be so intimidated looking at your resume because you've done all the big stuff between House of Cards, Lincoln, Loving. You just have so much stuff, which we'll have links to everything of yours, your website and your reels and all that stuff. Now you've got your office in Atlanta, which I assume is how you worked with Netflix's upcoming movie Red Notice with Gal Gadot, Dwayne Johnson, Ryan Reynolds, and you've got Dope Sick with Hulu in Virginia. So pandemic didn't slow you down at all.
I did not expect that. And the pandemic did slow everything shut down. So being my very stubborn and rebellious self, I decided to start 2 new companies thinking I would never ever work again in casting or production because I thought it was over. So I started a couple new companies and then all of a sudden production came back.
2, okay.
Yeah. Well, they aren't completely brand new companies. They're all offshoots under the umbrella of Arvold, which is what is kind of the main company. But I started a professional consultation business called Meta, where I use actor tools to train CEOs and executives how to more effectively connect through the screen, because we're all on Zoom or virtual calls these days. So it applies, right? All of that charisma in our true selves get to shine through, unlike in boardrooms. So that's one company that I started. And then our education branch of what we do, which has always been something I've been crazy passionate about. I need community. I had COVID pretty seriously. And so I was just like, I need people besides my amazing family, and let's just put something together. So we created a membership, and it has just grown slowly, solidly. It is expanding, and it was the gift of the pandemic, frankly. And so that is Arvold Warner Studio, and that is just continuing to grow. And then, of course, I've gotten other gigs in the meantime, everything from commercials to television shows to pilots to independent features to fancy projects, and the mix of all of that, the mix of corporate training, education, casting, and then I can't believe it, I've just been asked to direct 2 feature films. And so I'm like, I don't know what the future holds. I'm just embracing it, man. I just keep on going, one foot after the other. I think that's all we can do as artists, right?
2 features, that's really awesome.
So for our audience's sake, just for clarity, maybe even education, Can you real shortly describe the difference between what an agent, a manager, and a casting director?
Both the director and producer hire the casting director, and then the casting director searches for actors to enhance the script, the vision, and not only do we search for actors, but we advise on Station 12s and SAG union rules, and we negotiate deals, and we deal with the studio and approvals and all sorts of stuff. But we represent production's interests. And an agent represents an actor's interests. A manager also represents an actor's interests. So really, on behalf of the actor, there's the agent/manager, which I'll talk about the difference between those two in a second. And then on behalf of production, there is a casting director. So the casting director speaks to the agent, and the agent speaks to the casting director, both really trying to gain the best for their client. Then the difference between an agent and as a manager is typically an agency has more clients. They're able to negotiate deals and they take 10%. And then managers usually have much smaller clientele and they really shepherd on a day-to-day basis, depending on, the style of management, but they really manage a whole career. They look at the larger picture. What would you like to do? And what an agent is kind of a little more business oriented and managers are a little more creatively oriented, but that's a real simplistic view of it because so many boutique agents work like managers and so many managers start negotiating deals and whatnot. It's really when your career becomes quite large that you actually need both. So most people in this whole area of the Mid-Atlantic and Southeast only have agents. And there are a few managers who are wonderful, but on the whole, agents are how people operate here.
All right.
I'm going to play Jordan's recorded question here. That out now.
Oh, yeah, I like
Oh, did you? Awesome. Well, let's play it.
Hi, Erica. My name is Jordan Elizabeth Gelber. I am a producer and an actress based in New York City. My question is, for you, what was the biggest difference that you experienced casting and working on a commercial versus working on a TV series or a film?
Oh my gosh, great question. Jordan, first of all, kudos for being a multi-hyphenate. So it's interesting because there are some certainly similarities, but there are drastic differences, especially when it comes to timing. Commercials are wicked fast. Films, sometimes I'm on for months, and commercials, are days. I think that for commercial casting in particular, the audience needs to immediately, again, this is about timing, but the audience needs to immediately trust the actor or the character that they're portraying and or understand that actor immediately or that character immediately. It needs to be a fast read, right? Because you only have a certain amount of seconds that you're watching that. And on a film, actors can slowly open the slowest bit and you're not going to get them. I mean, when I first worked for Jane Alderman in Chicago, she had a famous story. It's not my story, but it is a wonderful story because she would bring in the most amazing Chicago actors to ad agencies that were casting commercials. And there was one actor she kept bringing in because she believed in him so much, and he was absolutely amazing and did theater. It was so incredible. But the ad agency kept saying, "This isn't a good actor. This isn't a good actor." Well, there aren't any no good actors, I have to tell you. There's just bad casting. Not that she was bad at casting, I want to say, but that actor went on to have a career when they didn't book a commercial after commercial after commercial, and then they had a huge career. Do you know who that actor was, Cody and Justin? John Malkovich. And full circle, he just did that Super Bowl commercial. That was amazing. So I'm like, here he's got his commercial he in the back door. I remember Jane talking about that a lot in that experience, and she imparted such wisdom because he, at that time, and like several actors, no one didn't know what box to put him in immediately, right? How do you put that in a box for a commercial?
His own box.
That essence, exactly. And so commercials have come a long way since those days, frankly, which was, the 80s. But there is something that is immediately identifiable when you're casting commercials within the talent pool that you need to know that the audience will access it. And when casting film and television, it's different. Like half-hour television is about pacing. Comedic television is about pacing, but it's time literally on the casting job, and then time in terms of it takes to actually grasp a character. It's parallel.
She asked that question better than the way that I was thinking about trying to figure out how to ask this question. So thank you, Jordan.
And with your teaching, I just want to be clear for anyone listening, you've been doing that since, 2010? That wasn't just you trying to occupy your pandemic time. You've been doing this for years.
Part of our responsibility as artists is to share. And I think I've had so many mentors in different aspects of my own creativity throughout my life that I can't not give back. And education is something I was born into. My mom is a professor, and I just really believe in carrying, passing on the torch, if you will. I mean, so the education is really about keeping me artistically happy, really embracing my ever continuing amateurity, because amateur comes from the French and it means for the love of it. And I don't think any of us should lose our amateurity. If we're not doing this because we love it, what's wrong? There's something wrong then.
Amen. I love it.
Yeah, I had no idea. That's awesome. Never thought I'd be proud to bang the drum of being an amateur. So you said your interns are now in these great places working. I mean, what a value add for what, on paper, as I understand it, Charlottesville is not one of the cities that comes up as, it's not in Movie Maker magazine's best film cities to move to. And if you could, I was hoping you could entertain me by pitching us on Charlottesville, and then maybe if you want to say why not Charlottesville after that. But you have obviously made it work for a long time. I mean, if you don't mind my saying, correct me if I'm wrong, you're the premier casting director of Virginia and some of the surrounding areas. I know House of Cards was all the way up in Baltimore, and you were casting for that. And then you've got your stuff down in Atlanta, too, and you're doing all this from Charlottesville. And as you said, your interns are going on to bigger and better things. UVA is not a film school, but somebody's getting really lucky who gets to come work at your office.
I love it. I moved here for family reasons when I left LA, and my husband was taking over his dad's small business. And so I honestly thought my career was over. I realized I was so unbelievably missing the most mundane parts of my career in Los Angeles. And I thought, okay, I know the Virginia Film Office, they had very gently told me about a nonprofit that they have called the Virginia Production Alliance. And I went ahead and started the Charlottesville chapter. And that was my education passion. I was like, yeah, if this is education for filmmakers, I'm all in. At the same time, I wasn't really getting any casting jobs because there weren't casting jobs to be had. And I thought, well, maybe if I produce something, I could hire myself to cast it. So let's create work. And so I read some of a script. It was a single location. I thought we could do it. So I started producing a movie, not knowing exactly what I was doing at all. And then I heard Lincoln was coming, which was the Steven Spielberg film. And they asked me to cast it, location casting. So hence, all of a sudden, education production casting was born. And that is this bizarre anomaly to me because Charlottesville is not the hub of filmmaking. There are amazing artists here. It is essentially like Santa Barbara is to the West Coast. I think Charlottesville is to the East Coast. I really love almost the cocoon factor that it has. I love coming home. I love landing in a tiny little plane at the airport, and the same person who takes your ticket is the same person who serves your food. And then Richmond is only an hour and a half away from me. And that seems to be quite a hub. And after Lincoln, more and more films came, more and more television shows came. And then once Turn came here, which I worked on the pilot and then 4 seasons, I think what happened is the crew base of Virginia developed, like we're more than one crew deep now, but seeing the community of filmmakers and screen artists, and I mean everyone from costume designers to grips to writers and directors, the whole gamut, really mature, at least in my kind of tenure here, has been such a joy. And to be a part of that and to celebrate each other's successes. Some people are satisfied with that. Of course, I need to expand more.
Yeah, I think it was around 2010, but Sarah Elizabeth was doing Lake Effects, and somehow I think we were writing around, we had done the behind the scenes documentary to that, and she'd mentioned working with you on casting, and then we're like, you know what, why are we trying to cast everything? And so I remember we're like, hey, we have this GE Energy commercial, let's actually see if we could get it cast by a casting director and see how that experience goes. We didn't know what we were doing. I remember, yeah, you were running the Virginia production line in Charlottesville at the time.
I had pictures all around my office, these historical pictures, when you guys came in to do your live sessions. And you noticed them and you were curious about them, but I was under such a strict NDA, no one knew. And at the time, the movie was called Office Seekers. That was the public name. And so I'm like, yeah, it's a movie I'm doing, and here I am doing your spot as well. I think it was over a year later, you or the other Justin, I'm not sure who it was like, Erica, were those pictures in your office when we were doing auditions, the pictures for Lincoln? I'm like, yep, that's what it was. and you're like, how could you do that huge movie at the same time as our commercial? I remember it was such a beautiful question because it made me contemplate. And I'm like, because I like doing both at the same time. I so like the variety of projects and the spectrum of projects. And I think it's because it's like a different muscle for me, but also there are always actors out there that are appropriate for something. And so if they're not appropriate to be on Lincoln, maybe they were appropriate for your commercial and vice versa. Like right now I'm doing 2 short films that I really believe in, the writer, director, and producing team, and the content is great. And it's an opportunity for my associates to lead. And then it's the first opportunity some of these writer directors have worked with a professional casting director, at least in the way that we operate. So it's really fun. And then at the same time, I've got some really big stuff too, but it's all of it combined that keeps me spinning plates. I don't know how to not spin plates. I think I would be neurotic if I only worked at one thing at a time. I think it just calms me down, honestly. All my anxiousness about one project gets taken care of because I have something else, tugging at my skirt somewhere else.
Yeah, all those plates, you kind of own the territory, which, I mean, I have to compliment. It's very cool to hear you tell your story because, there are producers in the area and they're like, come on guys, stay here, stop moving around, we can build it here. And I'm like, yeah, I don't have time to build it, which is interesting because look what you've accomplished.
Yeah,
you've built it. And it's such a long, deep conversation that could be had about building it versus going to it.
I'm so lucky because I think I happened to be in the right place at the right time before a wave of production began.
Cody, what are you going to ask about the locations?
Erica was saying how she got lucky because there was an uptick in production, and that was years ago, and now she's established herself, and now there's a serious, another uptick in production. She said 2 crews deep. I remember speaking with Virginia Berthollet, and I remember she said, I can't do my movie right now. I said, why? She said, there's just not enough crew. She said, we have to wait. Everyone's busy. I'm sure a lot of us know a lot of the same people who are there, friends who thought they were moving to LA and they've just stayed home because now work is coming in. There's the Apple shows, the Hulu shows, the AMC shows. It's awesome that you've established yourself, because now all these shows are coming to town. And I have to assume they're hitting you first. You called it local, what was it? Location casting? Is that the phrase?
Yeah, location casting. So if I'm brought onto a project to either attach a name actor, or I'm doing one with a voice right now, it's a puppet show. I'm looking to attach a name voice talent for this wonderful, beautiful puppet movie. So that's when I'm the whole casting director. And there's quite a few films that I've done where they're independent films and they're low budget. They're usually under 10 million or under 20 million. And so then I'll be hired to do the whole kit and caboodle, because hiring the Los Angeles or star name talent is a very different job than the location casting, which is a very different job than something I don't do, which is the extras casting, which is the background. But for the very large projects, Cody, that you just mentioned, indeed, I am the counterpart to the Los Angeles casting director or the New York casting director. Typically, it's the Los Angeles casting director. And on Lincoln, I think I cast like 65 parts with my partner, Ann Chapman, on that movie. It's really fun having a counterpart in Los Angeles. People have different ways of working, right? Certain people are very collaborative and certain people just expect you to do your job, and either is fine. But there are certain casting directors based in California that we just have a wonderful rockin' collaborative time working on projects. And I had to at one point say, no, I really need to decide what projects I'm going to do. Like, how much bandwidth do I have and who do I really love working with? And that's such a privileged position to be in, but I've worked my butt off for 31 years, so I'm really happy to be able to discern like that.
You mentioned you worked on a film in Wilmington. They seem very aggressive about bringing it back. It's exciting to see Screen Gems being used again. Like, I know David Gordon Green brought the new Halloween up to Wilmington, and because his office is in Charleston now, and they did the new Scream and a bunch of other things. I mean, they're busy now too. I was surprised to hear you say North Carolina, though. Do you have spats with, like, are casting directors territorial? Because I think I recall that being kind of like Finn Cannon territory in the Carolinas. Or do you guys ever call each other for help?
I mean, here's my attitude. There are many casting directors that, yes, will call me and I will call them for help. Absolutely. And there are some casting directors who are more territorial. My own belief system is collaboration over competition every single day. I just want to open my heart to everyone. I just believe in collaboration, period. And I'm really stubborn about it, frankly. And maybe that pisses some people off, but I'm like, look, we could all die tomorrow. Why the heck are we worrying about counting peas,
It's a good parallel. It's a really good parallel.
Oh, well, one more comment, Cody, about that. I think there was just a little bit of a lull in Virginia production, and there seemed to be a small exodus of people going to Atlanta because that's where the business was. But now, because there have been 2 big shows here for a while, actually 3, 2 I happened to work on, and now a bunch of people they went to Atlanta, and now they're back in Virginia. So it's a what is that called when you move around a lot?
Frustrating.
No.
That's great. In the industry, either in the commercial casting kind of world or in the film casting world, or if it applies to both, that's great. Really curious, what is a common misconception about the industry that you come across from people?
The most common misconception in all of this business we're talking about is that there is a right way to do something and that there's a rule book that eventually, if you excel enough, that you're going to get on a project that goes by the rules. Because I've never, ever, ever, ever been on a project that isn't an exception to the rule. So I think literally the rule is there's always an exception. That's the only rule that there is, right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, there's SAG rules. There's there's general structure. There's a general skeleton of what is, industry standard, and certainly professionalism and communication and the way things work. And it's actually quite structural, very military in a lot of ways. We're creatively free because of the structure of the business. So that structure is so important, yet every project I have ever been on in my entire life, there's some huge exception that happens. Oh, but this is how it should be done. I love hearing, the crew gossip mill, and this is how it should be done, and this is how really, and it's a mess, and it's this. And I'm like, well, every project is like that. I don't know one that's been perfect. I mean, certainly there are more professional projects than others, but I think that's what it is, that it's never perfect. It's never right. It's like you just have to do it. I talk a lot about artistic integrity in our membership because that's what it takes, and you have to be beholden to your own values in this business. And I don't know if it's a misconception, but I feel like a lot of people, especially early in their career, think success will be validating. And really, I think artistic integrity is what's validating, and to really examine one's values and also be open to change. We all have to reinvent ourselves. The most successful people I know are constantly reinventing themselves.
Once in a while, we see these actors, and they will make such interesting and cool choices. You're Catherine Hahn's, Michael Stuhlbarg's, Allison Janney, Tom Hardy, like these people who do these things where you're like, oh, they're
Nicolas Cage.
Okay, so that's I was going to wait on him actually, because he, obviously there's cage rage. It's a thing now, but he can do that because it is cage rage. And so I'm glad you mentioned him. Time's out, because that's kind of my point. I see these actors making very cool choices, and we watch and I think, man, they're so cool. Look at that thing they're doing with their eyebrows. There it is. They do it all the time. Every time. Oh, listen to the way he grunts at everything. So cool. Or when casting, do more green actors or younger people or people who aren't established get away with choices like that? Do you respect someone making, I guess I would call weird choices, maybe? I don't want to call them weird choices, but maybe just they're not what's on the page, right? So I'm so curious. I can't help myself. I was curious to know. I was like, man, I wonder if somebody goes in trying to grunt like Tom Hardy, is that cool? Does Erica love it? Or is it really obnoxious? Do you think, you're not there yet, kid, no grunting for you? Or is it sometimes a bold enough choice where you're like, I like it, I'm in? Can you just dive into that for me?
There's also kind of a sidelined question that they're like, should I go for the safe choice or the bold choice? Like, should I give them what they want and then go against what they want? And like, this comes up a lot.
Oh, so this is really discussed, like in your community, in the actor community. Okay.
1,000,000%. And it's such a good question, Cody, because here's the truth, at least my truth. And that is, there is no such thing as a bold choice unless it's a sequence of micro-specific sensory choices. So say it's a trend, right? And like, what's her face? The most amazing singer, and she has the green hair, and her brother is her recording artist. She's so... Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish. So she's not aiming to make a trend. It's like why something goes viral. If you're aiming to go viral, chances are that is not going to happen. If you are so truthful to your own creative impulse, that, because it's authentic, that's what becomes magnetic, or half a piece of Velcro, and then everyone else has the other half of the Velcro and is like sticking to it like mad, right? So when actors are like, well, how do I make a choice? Like, how do you know the bold choice? So for film and television in particular, it is the actor's job to understand through script analysis the given circumstances that are in the script, and then literally with their own micro-specific and sensory choices fill up the blank of the page. So if the page says interior living room day, it is that actor auditioning, and certainly when you get the part, it's your decision in the audition room with no other context to decide what time of day. Is that 6 a.m.? Or is that 6 p.m.? There's a distinct difference between the time of day. And if it's living room, you might hunt in the script for a few other hints and decide that, there's a really sleek modern leather couch in this living room. And you know what? Oh, it's new, and I can smell the leather through the scene. That's a specific sensory choice that's not on the page, perhaps, right? But you're not going against the given circumstances. And when you make those nuanced small choices, they add up to originality, to a bold choice that makes sense, and it's authentic and it's truthful because it came from your impulse and your own imagination. And someone might say, oh no, I'm on a really bad stinky couch that has been through lots of dogs in the house, let's say, right? But that could influence the scene. No one knows that they made the choice that it's a stinky couch versus a leather stinky couch, right? No one knows that. It's the actor's secret. But the fact that they are making those choices adds to their life, their inner life, their in-character thinking. And it gives them an anchor for where they are environmentally. It kind of plugs them in. And and there's not any generalities. It's the generalities that kill creativity every step of the way, in writing, in directing, in acting, in creating. I think all those examples that you gave, they did it for a really specific reason, and that's why it worked. It wasn't to shock somebody or have a result. It was because it intuitively was the way that brought them joy in the scene.
It's beautiful. I love that.
That's an awesome answer. You know, you used the example of people trying to go viral. I'm not trying to sound cruel, but when you said that, I cringed because you just see those videos, you know, if you're scrolling through Instagram and you're like, oh my gosh, come on, man, this is awful. Stop it. Is it as uncomfortable when you see an actor trying to grunt if it's unnatural or do a thing that is unnatural?
It's just fake. It's fake. And we are humans. We all are human, and we can spot and smell fakeness. That's how we protect ourselves through life. So why not be anything but authentic? And I think it's such a beautiful paradox, because people who go into the craft of acting typically are drawn to some aspect of becoming someone else, of living in someone else's shoes, of articulating and expanding an experience beyond who they are. They want to be someone else for some reason. And at the end of the day, what really resonates is if they can access their true self and they are completely bold and courageous enough to show their own vulnerability.
It sounds like from what you're saying, they have to just be confident with the decisions and be confident to let that job go away, because they have to be confident in the decisions that they made when they walked in, as opposed to being focused on, well, what should I do differently to book?
Well, if someone comes in because their MO is to book the job, you can smell it. You can feel it. It's like going on a date.
I remember you telling me many years ago, you said, I can smell desperation from a mile away. Like they don't even have to walk in. I already smell it.
It's true. And it's only because I have done this repeatedly so many times for so many years. I think anyone in my responsible position is to lift those folks up and make a safe space where they don't feel like they have to prove themselves, or where they can get back to the joy of it. I mean, that's the casting room right there.
This is such an amazing parallel for life.
Yes.
And living and just being with other people, or dating, or being in marriage, or, being in business partnerships, is if the question is always like, how could I have been a better, girlfriend or boyfriend in order so that you wouldn't have broken up with me? Then it's like, no, that's where you're missing it. You have to be the authentic you.
Yes.
And me, the authentic me, and things work or don't work. And it's a beautiful thing.
Exactly. I mean, and in full circle, that's why I started Meta. I mean, it's a meta concept, right? And that's why it's called Meta, for corporate and other laymen that want to affect teachers. Teachers take our classes all the time because they want to connect with their students, but it's not about teaching the right way. It's about authentically teaching through your own lens of your own self and your own passion. If we can all get back to the passion, it's such a life lesson. And I think everyone, I dare say every human, is part artist. And so it's just about figuring out what that artistry inside you can be acknowledged and celebrated in whatever way you're comfortable with it.
So true. I mean, beyond casting directing, what are the other things that you're passionate about?
Certainly education, and growing an education team of teachers. We have a great teacher training program that we now have, and we've got a whole wonderful ensemble of teachers who are wonderful actors, but they also feel equally passionate about teaching and sharing. I do a lot of script editing and feedback and storytelling, and I love making stuff up out of nothing. Like, that is magic. Like, that's what we get to do. We have an idea, and then all of a sudden we somehow create it, and it's in the world.
That's crazy. Can you tell me a little bit about your creative process? Do you have something like go-tos in life that you do? Or?
Yeah, I do, actually. And I'm still discovering them, right? Because I want to challenge myself. I've been creating playlists, music. I did this film called Here Today. Throughout the whole preparation process of my storyboards are literally stick figures. I'm trying to do a bird's eye view. Then I'm like, look at the shot. And then I look at pictures and I make collages. And I'm always interested in color and sound. I'm also half deaf, so sound is really, really important to me. And I hear probably fairly differently from other people who have stereo ears. I think it's that actor training about the senses. Like, I really want every single sense to be considered at every step of the way. And so music is one of them that drops me right in. And I would drive to the set and like listen to my whole playlist, sit in my car, finish listening to it, and then boom, onto set I went. And I was just like in the vibe. And that whole, whether you want to call it vibration, whether you want to call it essence, I just sustained that. My challenge, it wasn't about, oh, what's the shot? What's this? What's this? I mean, that I had figured out. And then of course you throw it out the window and you just do what is organically beautiful on the day, but at least you had a plan in the first place. But my biggest challenge and what I actually enjoyed the most was sustaining that open creative energy inspired by that music dropping me in and just like, here's the vibe of the show. Here it is. I'm the barometer for that tone. I'm the barometer for the performances, and like no one else is the barometer. And that was cool, and that exercised all sorts of muscles, you know?
So just in kind of practical ways, are there resources or applications or apps or subscriptions that you've used that kind of help you organize your thoughts? Or?
Oh yeah, all because Justin Rossbacher told me about that. I'm not kidding. Literally, I call you, you're like, oh, there's an app called Slack. You should use it at your company. I'm like, oh, okay. And so we started, like, there's no way we could exist without Slack right now. It's so great. You told me about Frame.io, Artlist. Oh, I also love Unsplash.
Oh yeah, that is fantastic.
Canva. We create all sorts of things. It's easy peasy in Canva. But I am just an old fashioned, I write things down by hand, and I have more ideas and if I need to really write something, and I mean like copy for selling a class, let's say, or or celebrating our newest sponsor or something, and I need to write a paragraph. If I'm my phone nearby, it's bad for my hands and my arms actually, but I will just type like crazy in notes. And the next thing I know, I've got exactly what I want to say, but I have to have complete freedom and not feel obligated in any way to create something. And if I have the computer screen in front of me, it looks too perfect. So that's why I'll make pictures or I'll draw things. I won't use the lines. I never use the lines in my notebook. I'll do a sideways. It's always messy. And if it's allowed to be messy, then I can make sense of it. But if I have to be neat in the first place, it's very challenging.
I love it. That's fantastic.
We were curious, what does it look like to be overwhelmed as a casting director? Is there a situation that you could think of?
I get overwhelmed when I'm doing something that I don't think I should, or that I've agreed to that I don't think is right. If there's a bait and switch, if I think I'm doing this job, but it's really job B, if it's, oh, I signed up to, think I was doing these 6 roles, but now all of a sudden you rewrote the whole script and it's 20 roles that I didn't plan on. That's overwhelming to me. And it's not overwhelming because the job is, I have to switch gears, and I'm really good at pivoting, but I don't want to switch gears unless it's a collaboration. So there's multi-factors in that overwhelmingness, but if it's a producer or someone that expects something and just wants to give orders and expect it, and here's the change and go do it, I get mad. That's when I get overwhelmed. And then I don't want to do anything. And then I'm like, what's wrong with me? Maybe I should quit the business. I mean, we all live on roller coasters, right? Emotional roller coasters. But at the end of the day, I'm a flippin' sensitive artist. Something really silly happened on a project, and the producer called and just reamed me. And it really was not my fault. I just took the reaming, and I mean reamed me. And finally I said, you know what? It's very hard for me to hear that, but if you could be a little more gentle next time, I would be really happy to discuss this. And then they reamed more. That pissed them off like crazy. And I was just like in tears. I mean, I definitely did the broadcast news. I mean, I cried every morning for about 6 months before a job. It was a hard job I was in. And I just cry. That's what happens when I'm overwhelmed. I cry. I always blame myself first. And I've had to learn, especially starting new businesses. I'm an accidental CEO, right? Like I started this business here on the East Coast in 2010, and I had no idea. I didn't go to business school, and now I have employees with health insurance, and I'm so proud of that. It's like literally a bucket list for me to provide health insurance for people. But I didn't learn that without being completely overwhelmed a lot of the time, and like dealing with PPP loans during the pandemic and dealing with, oh, are they outside contractors or not? And I've made huge mistakes. And that, I think that's another part of, I don't know if I would define it as overwhelming, but I do not like it when I could have made a smarter decision and then later I find out, oh, I didn't think about this aspect, because I pride myself on thinking of all scenarios, right? That's a producer, right? Think of all scenarios, then pick one, and you're like always protective mode. You're always really good at navigating the minefield. And so when a mine blows up and I didn't even see it, and maybe I feel like I should have seen it from before, that's when I get overwhelmed.
I would argue that you're successful because of handling situations like that, among many other things. I had a situation once early on. I started in electric, and I had a gaffer. He came over. He heard that I was going to go for this guy who did something very dangerous. I'd hardly ever been in a fight. This was a green light because it was so dangerous what he had just done. And he came over and he said, I just want you to know you have every right to go do something to that guy. He said, but just so you know, I think you're going to win. And everyone's going to remember you being this just terrifying, fighting, troublesome force on set. And that's all anyone's going to remember. They're not going to remember who started it. They're just going to remember that you went crazier and won, and that will be your reputation in the industry. And you have to be able to deal with that. And it was so wise, and I never expected that coming. So the fact that that producer was reaming you out and you kept your cool and responded that way, people freak out when you hold a mirror up to them when they're acting inappropriately.
The cool thing is that producer and I became really quite friendly after that.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah,
that's great.
That's how that stuff works. What advice do you think younger filmmakers, actors, and creatives should consider ignoring that's out there right now?
Oh, that anything that starts with the word should. I think should is the naughtiest word in the English language.
Can you give me an example?
You should have gone to school to study. You should move to LA right now. You should stay here. People give advice. It's an invitation. It's an offering, but you don't have to take it. You have to be willing and able and experience failure, whatever that means to you, again and again and again, because who knows? No one's right. In the whole world, who knows better? There are experts. Experts are wrong all the time. So I think that's what I would tell someone newer to their career, to say, yes, you can have a plan, you can have goals, you can do all of that. But remember, there's always exceptions, always. And it's a grand experiment, and your path is never identical to someone else's path. And you have to be bold enough and courageous enough to just listen to your own instinct. And if it feels good in your body and it's not hurting anyone, then great. That might be your yes. The biggest, best decisions I've always made have been the easiest ones that sometimes I don't even think about.
The should I definitely resonate with. That's become kind of a multiple different mottos around that. The idea of trying to remove it from my own language and encouraging other people to remove it from theirs. And some people are like, oh, it's semantics, you know what they meant. And it's like, no, it really makes a difference to shift it around. As simple as it could be a good thing. It's like, oh, I should go see that movie, rather than just like shift it around a little bit. I think I would enjoy the experience of going to see that movie. Like, that's a completely different emotional experience in my body that I just felt by saying it differently like that.
You're 100% right. I choose to go see the movie. It's more empowering. I mean, each person has their own, semantics that will ring more true to them. But like, should to me means you don't really have a choice or you feel obligated. To me, obligation is kryptonite.
I wanted to ask if you have any passion projects you're working on, but you've mentioned that you have these two feature or two, are they features?
Possibilities, yeah,
two
features.
Possible features. So are those your primary passion projects right now?
Well, my true passion project is my kid's about to go to college. So
Espri's about to go to college?
College.
Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
Crazy, right? So my passion project is getting as much mothering time in as possible. That is so important to me right now. The other thing, it's interesting, taking a stab at another draft with this writer that's been hired on this one feature film, I've started to really discover my own writing process. And I actually was talking to Christian, my assistant, about this before coming on. So I was like, how do I process creativity? Like, we always collaborate on all of our writing, like whether it's actually a script, that's very different. but a similar process. But when we were writing as a company, in terms of writing for the website or writing for social media or writing for a class description, etc., it's very much like a writer's room. We're crazy collaborative with it. And I pretty much serve as the showrunner, if you will, in terms of dipping my hand in and then coming back out. But I have an idea. I talk it out with lots of people. People type things out. And then I go back and I start editing it. And then I get to a point where I'm like completely done with editing. And I'm like, someone else take a look at it. Then they dive in. And then, of course, I want to edit their work. So all I do is edit. All day long, I feel like I talk. It somehow gets onto paper. And then I edit. And sometimes they play a trick on me because enough time has elapsed. And Priya's like, yeah, can you take a look at this? I'm like, oh, this is really cool. It's not exactly what I'm saying, but it's close. And then I edit it. And at the end, she goes, just so you know, no one else wrote it. It was your writing originally from a week ago. And I'm like, oh, man. But I have to think that someone else had their hands in it before I can go back and edit it.
Like that.
It's the most bizarre thing, but I love it. But I think that's how I do everything, even casting, even creating something. Control is a big thing, right? I mean, that's how we feel safe as humans anyway, and certainly creatively, because so much is out of our control, especially if you're an actor or in this business at all. I'm lucky to work on several productions, that overlap, so they're simultaneous, and literally it's a few times a week. I'm like, okay, shut down here. Oh, we wrapped early here. We doing this is the team that's in quarantine right now. Can we have this actor? Like it's all the time now. It's just a part of casting. I've become a casting producer AD, and the ADs have become producer ADs, and schedule, it's everyone is doing at least 3 jobs because of what COVID has wreaked havoc in terms of production. I read an article about the ability to be in control, and my husband and I were discussing the idea of procrastination, and Ted was like, procrastination's just an attempt at control. And then I read this article saying, do you stay up at night watching things when you know you should go to sleep? When you know you can, or it might be better for you to go to sleep, and then you can get a good start on the day and you're exhausted, but for some reason you're like watching a movie or doing something and like...
Never happened to me.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't have control of your own time during the day. This happens a lot to very busy people. And in the only control of the part of the day that you have is those evening hours where you can essentially make the decision to say, no, I'm watching 3 movies tonight until 3 a.m. and no one can stop me, right? And so that has a parallel to procrastination. And I really thought that was insightful and interesting. And I think since we're all reeling in some way or another, even if we're thriving, we're all affected by this pandemic and the not control we have over the virus, over other people wearing masks. It's all of that, just being aware. And all of a sudden I realized, oh, if I'm procrastinating and I need control, maybe I'll just take a break. I have more control then. Or, oh, you know what? I am literally staying up late because I've worked like crazy and I just want to relax, and not just relax while I sleep, because I want to be conscious of relaxing and enjoying whatever. I just started The Flight Attendant. I can't wait to watch the last 2 episodes. So I'm going to stay up late, but you know what? It's a control thing, and I'm going to be okay right now with being in control. And there's a whole thing that's going through my brain right now. I just wondered if that affects you guys as well.
It definitely affects me. It resonates a lot. Actually, it kind of opens up a little bit of a door, because sometimes I'm not quite putting a finger on it. I'm more feeling like I'm in a just like it's happening to me state where I'm staying up late, even though I know I have a lot of things to do and there's tons of things going on, and I'm watching that thing, even though, yes, I could go to sleep and I will be more productive tomorrow, and such. But you're right. It's like, no, I want to be conscious during my relaxing. I'm going to control this. But just being consciously aware of it to know, oh, okay, what are ways that maybe I can set up my day earlier, like to have some control during the day so that I will feel the freedom to be able to go to sleep. And I definitely noticed the opposite happening too. Like Cody will tell you, when I was on my kick getting up super early in the morning and then coming in, and then I'd work out at lunch, I just felt so in control the entire day. And boy, I was easy to go to sleep early. I was just like, no, I'm good. So that's really fascinating.
I'm still insecure about when this is all over, which it doesn't look like we're going to get okay, everyone, it's over now. I mean, maybe eventually, but man, I've just been filling the space like with everything that I can, and I feel like I'm falling behind. Somehow I'm not commuting anymore. I'm not going to an office. I am on the same 10 acres every day, and I am out of time all the time still somehow by like keeping myself so busy. And I know that somehow that's a good thing, but listening to you talk about it, I haven't given myself the freedom to be like, I think the most exciting thing I did is I watched Tenet at 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning one day, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. I'm crazy today. Yeah.
On a Saturday too.
Yeah, I was like, this isn't on the schedule. I'm wild now, and it was so fun. I felt crazy. I think without the routine, when there's no days on, there's no days off, if that makes sense. So every day is an on day. Every day I wake up and go, well, there's probably 30 things I could be doing right now. And just what is Saturday and Sunday anymore? I mean, maybe it's different for you. For me, every day is the same. So it's, finding off days has been a thing.
Oh, that's so great. I have loved chatting with you today.
This has been fantastic. So any short, let's see, Erica Arvold nugget of wisdom. Do you remember what you wrote?
Justin, you have a great reading voice. Justin, read it for us.
The meaning and importance of being an artist. We matter, you matter.
I concur. Who wrote that?
You have a great team over there at Arvold.
So lucky. So lucky. So lucky. And great collaborators like you guys at Cry. It's really cool. Well, that's what we talk about in the membership. Cody, I'm going to invite you to the membership. Justin, I'm going to invite you to the membership. Actually, no, Justin's already a member.
I am. I've enjoyed the event that I attended. So I'm really glad you're doing it.
It's about maintaining artistic integrity, especially outside the gig. So like your days, Cody, like there's some structure and some stuff we have that maybe you could do, or at least give me feedback on it.
Oh, thank you. No, I'm very excited to check it out. I've been embracing the communities a little bit more lately. It's been helpful. No, thank you so much. And can you describe the community real quick? We're going to link it in the show notes and stuff, but I'd like to hear it from you.
Oh, yeah. So Arvold Warner Studio membership is a community of screen artists dedicated to maintaining their own artistic integrity outside the gig. We have events, we have collaborations, we have a office hours once a week where people just come in with their to-do list and they together side by side for 2 hours check things off that they never thought they would actually get done. We have a creative cafe, which is a parallel writing room for a lot of folks who didn't think they were writers are now writing poems and doing things because they're quite inspired, and we have prompts. We have Wednesday nights, we have jam sessions, which is really like a 75-minute acting class, but it's open to all screen artists. And we have run the gamut from our Pure Prep curriculum, which is the 10 steps. I mean, we jam and there's no preparation and you just show up. You get huge discount on classes, and we have products, lots of products. But more than anything, it's a community. And while it's funny because it's about maintaining artistic integrity, it is the most supportive community. And like the whole point is if you can feel like an artist outside the gig, then booking becomes much less important. And you know that you are a living, thriving, creative being. And that, funnily enough, people join and then they start booking. You know why? Because they're just being a creative, thriving human being and they forget about booking. And then guess what? That desperation, all that stuff that you were talking about, Justin, goes away and they start booking like crazy.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm looking forward to checking that out. Thank you. Is there anything else that either of you would like to share before we wind out and stop recording?
Well, yeah, I just want to shout out to you guys. So you were all nice about, talking about me, but you guys, look, you took a company from Lynchburg, Virginia, and then expanded to New York. It expanded to Austin and are thriving. And I see your work and it's always impeccable. And your attention to detail and your consciousness and your kindness is what leads your creativity. And I thank you for that. And I love, you guys at Cry. I mean, Juan Novalis is literally a flippin' superstar. I tell him this, I will say it public. He is the first editor I will go to every single time. Every single time. That man is a master storyteller, and we have so much fun. I mean, we've edited for like 32 hours straight, and it's stupid fun.
I love Juan. He's been a fantastic business partner. He's got your back in the foxhole and the trenches, and you're going to have fun getting through it because it's each phase of the production, from pre-production or writing and development to then production. They all have their own stresses, and then post-production has its own thing. And each time you have to reimagine that film. And yeah, he's a great partner to have in that.
It's really awesome. Well, how would you prefer people get a hold of you? And how would you prefer they not get a hold of you?
This is straight from my assistant, Christian. Number one, emailing info@arvold.com is fine. But if it's a picture and resume, all you need to do is not email us. You need to submit for an appropriate project, which is on Breakdown Services and or Actors Access if we release it to non-represented talent, which we do much of the time. But if you do have a different reason to email info@arvold.com, not a picture and resume, but a different reason, please, per my assistant, spell my name correctly, Erica Arvold. Please don't have bonkers spelling mistakes or grammatical errors all the time.
People misspell your name?
All the time.
I'm looking at your name right now. Please tell me. How?
Oh, Erika, Arnold. I mean, there's so many things. Hello, Mr. Arnold. It's amazing. But here's the thing. It's attention to detail. It's like an actor's demo reel is a representation of them. It's not just about the work they've done. It's as an artist, does your demo reel have an arc? Did you curate it to the extent that you will pay attention to those nuances when we talked about preparing for a character? Are you aware of those transitions? Are you aware of these micro beats within your demo reel that are saying so much? And if you're unaware of those things, how can you be aware of script analysis, right? It takes a very detailed presentation to represent authentically how you work as an artist.
So even though you're an actor, you don't get an excuse for misspelling. Erica, thank you so much. This was awesome.
Yes, thank you, Erica.
Thank you. Can we do this every week?
Sure. Every week.
All right, let's do it every week.
Wait. Have you guys gone to our Feedback Fridays? Have you seen our Feedback Fridays?
I haven't gone to the Feedback Fridays.
Okay, on Twitch, twitch.tv/ArvoldOfficial. It's all over social media. Every Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time, we are live on Twitch and we review materials. We've reviewed one-page scripts. I think we're reviewing a voiceover reel this Friday. And then we record it and it goes into a vault inside the membership. So you can see I think we're up to episode 27 or 28 now. And it's an hour long and it's me and Christian and Madison and sometimes Portia and sometimes there's a special guest and sometimes Dustin. But it's the convergence. It's all for education. It's philanthropic. It's free. It's all because our casting office kind of comes in and talks about their perspective. And it's kind of wildfire. It's going really good right now. And we always have a topic we talk about. So this week is part 2 of what really happens when a production shuts down mid-filming schedule due to a pandemic. Like what's going on and why are actors not being called every 5 seconds with updates? And we tell everyone what production's really doing.
Awesome. I know I could keep talking to you for hours probably. So closing it out in any way is difficult.
Well, then we just say to be continued. And even if it's in a year from now that we do another one, we'll just say to be continued because that is what it is.
And you know what? It's to be continued. Erica will be back.
To be continued.
Next season.
Indeed.
Hey, you. Thanks for coming back. We hope you enjoyed getting to know Erica Arvold. Again, we have links to her website and social media in the show notes. If you have any ideas for future episodes or who you'd like to hear from next, please DM us or leave us a comment on Instagram or Facebook, and we will see if we can make it happen. I know I've been thinking about who I can reach out to in the video game world because I'm thinking about the future. From Cry, a production house in New York City, I'm Cody, and this is Filmmakers in Advertising.